WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good afternoon, I'm Tyler Danberg. The NBA draft continues tonight with round 2 at 8. Tuesday, the Wizards chose BYU's A.J. DeBanza with the top pick, while Columbus's Dalen Swain went 15th overall to the Bulls. The Cavs will pick 4th tonight after trading the 29th pick to the Kings. ESPN projects Ohio State's Bruce Thornton to go to the Spurs tonight with the 44th pick. After declining his player option, ESPN reported Lakers guard Austin Reeves intends to sign a 4-year, $185 million extension. And in baseball, the Guardians visit the White Sox at 2:10, trailing Chicago by a game out of first in the AL Central. Tonight, the Reds host the Brewers at 7:10. Hear the game on the Fan after the Buckeye Show. This update sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling, together to serve you better. Scheduled today at thewaterworks.com. Breaking sports news when it happens right here on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, here we go. Welcome back in. Rothman and Ice. Anthony Rothman, my boy Matty Ice Hayes, and the loose cannon behind the glass. How we doing, boys?
What up, what up? I am doing well. Doing well. How you feeling today, big dog?
Outstanding.
Good.
For a little Wet and Wild Wednesday,
Let's
so
go.
we've got it going here. We'll have Shefty at 12:30, bottom of the hour. We'll talk some Jackets with Brian Hedger, dispatch reporter, beat reporter for the CBJ. We'll get into that in a few minutes. We'll have him at 1:30. We'll go up to Cleveland in the third hour with Mary Kay Cabot and kind of dig into what potentially this job is, because I think it's turning into a little bit of it's Deshaun's to lose, but we'll see. Monken isn't saying much.
He hasn't said much, which leads me to believe that this is a fun little race that could be happening once we get to training camp, because he did say at the Combine, coming out of minicamp, wouldn't be mad if I could name a starter. Obviously, he didn't do that, so that kind of tells us where things stand. But, yeah, talking to Mary Kay Cabot is going to be awesome at 2:30. And, yeah, it's always fun, man, rocking out with you guys for the next few hours. So let's get to it.
All right, so let's get into this. Has been the summer of Zach Werenski. No one can deny that. It's, as I say on Twitter or write on Twitter a lot, 'tis the season. This has been his summer. Gold medal. And the Norris Trophy.
The moment to get to the gold medal.
All of
that play lives on forever.
Lives in infamy.
Yes.
And then he becomes a father for the first time, and he's just had a great summer. Outside of not being in the Memorial Pro-Am, which he told us when we had him on the air during the time that he had some daddy duties. So he scored a lot of points, first-time father, wasn't going to just whisk off to the golf course for 6-8 hours.
Hey, I got to go. I got to go hacking around a little bit.
But he's been an epic player for the Jackets, loyal, maybe to a fault at times, but here he is. Under contract for the next couple of years. Really nothing to worry about. Like, I never really thought about this until they met a couple weeks ago. And when they met a couple weeks ago, I was like, all right, well, that kind of makes sense. And then, so a lot of people outside of hockey wouldn't know the name Elliot Friedman. Elliot Friedman, I would say, is the Schefter of hockey in a lot of ways. There are a couple others, certainly, and a lot of insiders in the NFL. And he's a main insider, Sportsnet, and does a lot with them. And he's the NHL insider. And he was on a hockey show just yesterday, I believe. And he said that according to several sources he has, that the Jackets are going to meet with Zach, and he said after the draft, to discuss his future with the organization. Now, there's been a lot of whispers and a little bit of smoke around this because, as I say, he's got 2 years left on his current contract. They can extend him. Well, they could extend him as early as next summer. Right around this time next year, July 1st, they can extend him of 2027. But this kind of thing is interesting to me for a couple different ways. One, they just met. And Big Don was talking about future of the organization. Let's find out where everybody's head is. It's not like we're winning a lot. They've been very competitive. He's had 2 epic years. And you start thinking to yourself from both perspectives. Now, from the Jackets' perspective, this is obviously something that if Zach has any hesitation in his future here in Columbus, which he has not intimated publicly or anything to us when he comes on weekly,
right?
But we can all do the math. And he is in the prime of his career. How big that window is anybody's guess. And the window here is not exactly always open, right? It's competitive.
That's fair.
But the line is playoffs. The line, it's never been cup.
No.
They don't go into the year thinking, we have the team to win the cup. It was like, can they take the steps in order to get there? And he knows his next contract is going to be a whopper.
Yeah.
And anywhere else, including here, but anywhere else too. The question you have to ask yourself, if you're him, when does he decide that I can stay here for the bulk of my career and just hope? And I feel like this is the big year. This is the year. And my gut is that they're meeting a couple times this month for a couple of reasons. One is to find out if there's any hesitation at all in his mind. Because if there is, the Jackets are going to be smart and they're going to find out as early as they can, and you're going to create this big buzz, maybe privately, that you could get a bidding war for Z. And in a way, it could get him to where he wants. However, with no movements and stuff like that, it's very difficult to just shop him around. He'd have to waive it. I believe, and I don't have this confirmed, that maybe it goes to a 10-team no trade a year from now in the last year. I'd have to look at that. But as an all-star are you with us long-term? Do you want to be here long-term? And can Don turn around the team to hope to keep him and want him and all that? They want him. But the beef that he would have, in my mind, is I've made one run with Torts and Lars and Shazi and Kenny and Danny Singleton. I made that run with that staff.
Yeah.
And guess what I've experienced since then, or throughout my career?
Not a lot of good.
A new coach after new coach after new coach, and the current coach is on a one-year deal. So I feel like there's a little smoke. The fire can be put out. That can be extinguished fairly quickly if he's like, I'm good. I'm locked in. I want to run it back. He signed the contract extension a few years ago, but times have changed, right? And the times that we've been unfortunately involved with as Jacket fans is not a lot of highs. This situation for me is mirroring the Myles Garrett situation in Cleveland without the request from the player. That's how it feels to me right now, where you're looking at a team that isn't necessarily in a contending window at the moment, that has a really, really good player, one of the best at his position, if not the best at his position, that's at the peak of his powers. Myles Garrett coming off a Defensive Player of the Year. Z just won the Norris. You can understand from that side of things why you would do it now. I hope it doesn't happen because this guy has been an absolute pillar and a great leader of this team. But on the business side of things, if you come out of the meeting on this weekend, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, whenever that's happening, and there isn't we feel good about him recommitting to us again, then the serious conversations need to start. Because, and I know he's got 2 years left, so you can play this game again next year. We may be having a similar conversation, but because of the smoke that you're talking about, it seems like something is going on right now behind the scenes to where an Elliot Friedman's coming out publicly and saying or reporting on the situation the way that he is. And who's, real quickly, Matty, who's motivated to tell Friedman that they're meeting for a second time in a few weeks?
The team, I think.
The team?
You think it's Z?
I mean, my mind would go to...
Z doesn't seem like the type of guy that wants to play these games publicly. He doesn't, to me, talking to him over there, and I could be wrong, but I don't think he's feeding things to media members to keep the smoke alive. Yeah. It's not. I just don't know why anybody would want it out, is my point. There's no real motivation for either side right now. There really isn't. So who gave it to Elliot, do you think? I don't know. Why even meet? Who called the second meeting? The team? Zach? His agent? Like, why meet again? Did we not discuss enough a few weeks ago on where the mindset is? Could it be... This is like the USA alum are all, like, we spent a lot of time together. Yeah.
Like,
could it be, AR, that they're already talking numbers? They had a meeting out of the gate, and they said,
they
we'll
can't
come
extend
back.
him.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes sense from the Jackets' standpoint to call a second meeting if they need some clarification. Maybe they didn't get enough out of him in the first meeting, and now we're going into the draft, and they want to have all, but they're not meeting him prior to the draft. It'd be after. But teams listen, they're not dumb. They want to have time to find out if he's all in. But why meet again? Why wasn't that discussed unless the other one was about, hey, congrats on the North. This is great. We can't wait to, we'll talk soon.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was just one of those, to be continued meetings. But if you're learning about what your player feels, that's why I say, a lot of people are tweeting, oh, this is a non-story. Don't stick your head in the sand on this. We've heard whispers with Kachuk. We heard whispers. Quinn Hughes did this. He did the same with Vancouver. He had a year and a half left, and look what happened. If Zeke can help them out by telling them early, then they'll take that information. And so whether he's committed or can't commit or there's hesitation, you can't lose that guy for nothing. Think about what Toronto with Marner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially for not much, and that's a 100-point guy that walked and they got screwed. That's bad. So
I know they can't.
They need to know.
They need to know. Completely agree. And I know they can't extend him until next year. But if we're Z right now, what is the reason? Why are you extending right now with the team?
You mean having a meeting?
Why would you be in the headspace to want to do that even next year right now when they present that contract extension to you? Because I just
for the only reasons
money.
Well, he's going to get money anywhere. So it really isn't the money. It's that he likes it here. Honestly, it'd be less about hockey in a way, or he believes in what they're doing. That'd be the other thing.
How strong could that belief be right now is my question.
It doesn't have to be strong as anything today. It probably has to be strong after this season. This is the show me year. That's probably what they're clarifying.
And then you take the risk of, if an unfortunate injury happens or whatever. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Right now, where his stock is around the league is as strong as it could possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I just think this meeting is huge this weekend, obviously, right? And if they don't feel good about it, you trade them. I don't think you could take the risk because I think now you get a big-time return right now. And so...
Well, you can't do that in a week. You got to create a bidding war. These things don't happen. You got to give other teams a chance to get their ducks in a row.
That's fine. Whenever it is,
make a big offer.
Whenever it is, you just have to do it. You cannot take the risk of this guy.
It would probably be after this year, before the deadline next year. That's my feeling.
And I'd be a little worried about that.
Yeah.
A little worried about that.
I think that's the way it would come out. But anyway, these whispers could turn into a scream if something weird. And then the other part about this real quickly is I don't think either party wanted it to be known that there's a second meeting.
So who's snitching?
I don't know. That's what I'm just
what
saying.
We need to find out.
All right. Speaking of hockey, our old coach, who we hardly knew, is back in the game, and he's revising his recent history. You'll hear that next. Rothman Ice and the Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Get 0% financing for 60 months on new 2026 Tucsons. Only at Great Lakes, Columbus, or Dublin, or glakeshyundai.com. With approved A1 credit up to 30K finance only plus qualified rate. N76.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with Awaken 180. Increase flexibility, strength, and endurance. Breaking 100, 90, Even 80 could be just 40 pounds away. Results this summer with the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Summer heats up fast here in Columbus, and bad windows can have a tough time keeping a home cool and can send energy bills through the roof.
I hate to admit it, but we've had some complaints about our windows doing that.
Uh-oh.
I just tell them it's just like being at the beach, minus the water and the beach and the happiness, and you're in your living room. It's gross.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
I'm Brian Albizu, traffic anchor for 10 TV News this morning. Columbus is quickly becoming my home, and this community has welcomed me with open arms. My mission is simple, to help you get to where you're going quickly and safely. Whether it's helping you beat the slowdown on 270 or giving you detours around major construction, we've got you covered. Because when your morning's on the move, so are we. Make the move to 10 TV News this morning, weekdays from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver. Leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, a convenience store for metal.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these first-hand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans. But many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story. Ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
Hey there, I'm Brad. I'm about to win the Tuesday Night Bowling League Championship. I'm also a highway worker for the Ohio Department of Transportation. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can bowl the winning strike with my buddies.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. Remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Think you know Buckeye football? These two say, hold my beer. The Beat with Austin and Berm.
Sponsored by the Waterworks.
Daily on the Fan's YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A beautiful day ahead with mostly sunny skies and temperatures in the low 80s. And then for tonight, partly cloudy overnight with lows in the 60s. We'll have a couple of chances on and off of showers and storms throughout the day on Thursday in the morning and then later on in the day. Otherwise, it'll be breezy and partly sunny with highs in the mid to low 80s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. Anthony sometimes likes to sit and stare at his bundle of Emmy Awards. Unfortunately, it's through the glass of the pawn shop. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
So we'll see. There's smoke. May not be much. Maybe just one of those little frying pans that didn't get water turned on in the sink. It may not be water, smoke coming from a chimney.
I hope it's a whole bunch of nothing, but I'm not going to be naive to the situation.
No, and the reason you shouldn't is because they just met before the Norris. Why meet again? Like, the vision didn't change in 2 weeks from the team's vantage point.
Right. And an NHL draft, that's not going to move Z that much. I don't think.
No. Well, unless they're using pick 14 and packaging a player and trying to make a big swing for,
I get. Are we a player away? is the other thing. You know what I mean? Like, those are the – if I'm Z, I'm what, 28 years old now?
I'll be 29 in a month or less.
I think it's Myles Garrett again. It's what I think this is. A guy that looks around and says, I love the city. I love the fan base. I gave it my all. I re-upped with them back in 2021, and I want to be a part of something special. And we were talking during the break. He was a part of something special with Team USA. And I think when you feel that energy and you're like, oh, this is what it's like.
Well, think about the guys. Think about Quinn Hughes. Think about Larkin. Think about Kachuk. Think about this little USA team alum that had spent all that time together overseas. And
it's no coincidence.
You know, they're not just.
No coincidence. Yeah. Elite players talking to each other. And this is just real talk here. Guys looking at Z and saying, Z, like, what are you doing, brother? What are you doing? And so maybe that did get in his head a little bit. Maybe he was thinking this way already. Maybe this is, like I said, a whole bunch of nothing, and we're going to find out that it is nothing, and he'll be around for years to come, which would be great for all of us.
It can't be a whole bunch of nothing, or they wouldn't be meeting again.
Correct.
It can turn into a whole bunch of nothing after the meeting.
Correct.
But
why again?
Why again?
Somebody feels uneasy about what happened in the first meeting. We just don't know who. My gut is telling me it's the Jackets. They feel uneasy about this because they've got one of the faces of the franchise right now, one of the best players in the entire sport, who's got a few years left in his prime, and he may be in the headspace of, I want to use the best ability that I have left in my gas tank and be a part of a team that's going to do some winning.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us could blame him for thinking that way, even though it sucks to think about that world without Zach.
It's a business. You got to think this way for the Jackets. You got to know. Yeah. And the sooner you know, the better. And the more he can help you out, the better. Honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think they wanted this out there publicly that they're meeting again. And they may be able to tamp it down after the draft if Z has no hesitation. Or if they're going to table this until after this season. And this is the show me year for them, how they can improve the team and how he's playing at the time or how he feels at the time. And then it's next off season or into before the trade deadline. And that's just where I think so they can tamp it down. Both parties can tamp this down.
They got time.
They probably thought they could meet a little more privately than this, but we'll see. All right. So Mike Babcock got to a microphone yesterday in Edmonton, and we've talked about him before. And his story here is it's almost epic in a way. It's just, I don't want to relive the whole thing, but what I watched yesterday was a guy who, I mean, if I had an ounce of this confidence or arrogance or whatever it is, like, it's unbelievable. Like, there is zero accountability. Now, I know he doesn't want to relive it, but the questions that were asked, and I've been to a lot of press conferences. I've never heard this asked at a press conference in my life. What I mean, not by the question, but the word and the wording, like, it was good, and it was also kind of weird for me to hear. So it's not, I wouldn't call it inappropriate because it wasn't used in a sexual way. It was used in there were a number of different words you could have chosen. Bully, condescending. Yeah. And when I heard this, I almost fell off the chair.
Jason Garrett, Sports 1440. Mike, you mentioned that it's important for you respect in conversations and closed doors, and you said you talked to the players and how they got to be full in on Mike Babcock. Well, part of Mike Babcock's history from a lot of former players is at a time you weren't necessarily respectful to them and how you interacted with them. So how can you change that side of you where you can be hard on players but not be a dick?
I think that's a great question.
Oh, he loved it.
I've never heard that word in a press conference. I've never heard anyone refer to anybody. Most coaches can be that on occasion. Like, it's not a crime to be that.
That's a great question.
Well, let me tell you, I listened to the whole press conference. He's a smart dude, and every question was asked about his past was, thank you for asking that question. That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. It's just a way to basically not be defensive and embrace what it was. But what he walked away. He didn't walk away. No. John Davidson said publicly, we made a mistake.
Your Uber's ready, Mike Babcock.
We walked away.
Not true.
My wife called me and said, you got to get out of there.
Delusion.
It is
Delusion.
revisionist history.
Yes.
The game needs him, although he did say, I'm great at being retired. And like, you have a chance to coach the greatest player in the world. I think most coaches would do it, especially him, who thought maybe he wouldn't get another chance.
You posed a question off the top about how certain people in life can have this level of confidence, arrogance, however you want to label it, when they've got sticky past. But I think that arrogance and ego grows even more when you go through those things and you continue to get these type of opportunities. Why would you feel like you need to bend the knee or be humble or do anything? Because you keep getting chance after chance after chance. And to your point, this chance is incredible. Conor McGregor, come on down. Let's do business. McDavid,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let's do business. And so that's why I think people are like this, because they've never really had to deal with tons of repercussions or be completely blocked out of the sport. And for Mike Babcock, this is where I think he's wired, and it's going to be interesting to see how that works with McDavid up there. He had to sign off on this. McDavid
100%.
did.
Draisaitl did too.
No doubt.
But Hyman played for him back in Toronto, so maybe he's okay with it. And they want to win.
Yeah, and I think usually, AR, it's, to me, guys that are accomplished or of a certain age or whatever it may be, it's rare that you see drastic changes in who they are. Completely. And so
I don't think you can go to the cell phone trick again. I don't think that
No,
can
I
happen.
agree
Yeah.
with that, but I don't think he's going to turn into some, hey, yay, good job type of coach all the time and, patting guys on the back. He's not going to turn into that coach. I think he'll dial it down just a little bit, but I don't think we're getting a completely new Babcock.
I'll tell you what, like somewhere in the, like maybe top of the hour, I want to play you another soundbite about why he left Columbus and just how ridiculous it sounds on what he said. And I'm not telling you he can't coach. He can. He hasn't won a round since 2013. So let's not make him the greatest hockey coach that ever lived. Give him the Olympics. Loaded Canadian team. That's fine. Maybe a lot of guys could have won with them. But in Detroit, he was loaded. Datsuk, Zetterberg, Lidstrom, you name it. Every year he had one cup. A lot of people think he underachieved there. So he's smart. He's almost too smart because he plays games with players he doesn't have to. And it got him here, but look what happened. The league and sports don't change. Veteran coach, he's won before. We're Edmonton. We've been close. We were almost way too close to get rid of our coach. It's not like Edmonton's been nothing. And maybe they feel he's the one that can get him over the top. And they don't care about PR. And they sidestepped it, and he sidestepped it yesterday to critical acclaim. I give the reporters a lot of credit. They did what they could, but they never got down to brass tacks. They asked him if he felt he crossed the line. There are a lot of people out there that know he did. And there weren't a lot of answers, but it was a while ago now for him, and he was able to kind of emotionally step away from it. But I'll play that one for you later on in the show. We'll take a break. We'll come back in 2 minutes with our friend Adam Schefter. We'll get you all the inside scoop in the NFL next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Nothing feels better on a hot summer day than coming home to a nice air-conditioned house. If your AC is on the fritz, don't sweat it. Call the pros at the Waterworks Heating and Cooling. We service all makes and models and can provide great savings on a Lennox home comfort system that delivers that perfect feeling. The Waterworks Heating and Cooling Services. Call us at 614-232-2222 and schedule fast service today. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
T-Bone and Tyvis wake you up every weekday morning from 6 to 9, and I think I can sum up the show in 3 words. Football, food, and fun. Ain't that right, T-Bone?
And I get more volume per suck.
And there's only one thing that makes Tyvis happier than a free hair transplant.
All it took was legalizing the money you had to give to the players. And we are watching the demise of the SEC.
T-Bone and Tyvis, weekday morning starting at 6. And tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 The Fan.
Hey, it's Common Man. Everybody's talking about affordability these days, but the good news is you'll find hundreds of vehicles that fit your budget at GoGermain.com. Drive home in a new sedan starting at just $139 a month. New SUVs from only $189 a month, or a truck for as low as $329. Plus, choose from over 1,700 new and pre-owned vehicles, all priced under $30K, and it's only at GoGermain.com. And with their $1,000 price promise, no one's going to sell you a car for less. Go see my friends today. GoGermain.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows.
Dan here for Universal Windows Direct. Right now, buy 4 windows, get 4 free. And 48 months with 0% interest, same as cash. Restrictions apply. Call 614-502-5220. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Rothman Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
NFL Playbook with ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
All right, he's our guy, the senior NFL insider for ESPN, the one and only Adam Schefter. And he's with us now on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems Fangast Hotline. My man, how we feeling?
What is going on, gentlemen?
The Sorsby saga is going on. So he will not play in the NFL this year. So I guess, let me ask it this way. I know supplemental drafts are rare, Shefty. But before, like maybe a couple weeks ago, I wasn't in the mindset that I knew they had a chance to not approve it, but I didn't really go all the way there. Did you? Did you feel like this could tip this way? Or were you more on the camp like we were, which is, what team might bid for him and how much would they bid for him? I thought this was a minor upset. Did you?
Well, let me say this, that I think every time that I have appeared anywhere about this, I kept saying, like, if there is a supplemental draft, if this happens, because Roger Goodell needs to sign off on it, and he hasn't done it. And I kept saying that because every time I spoke to somebody in the league office, I never got a sense of commitment to the draft. I never got an answer on when it would be. They were very vague and ambiguous on a potential day. I'm like, when's the day? Oh, we have to decide if there's going to be a draft for it. Like, what do you mean decide? Well, Roger Goodell's got to, like, it was weird. Now, again, I if I'm being honest, I thought, well, Roger Goodell will wind up approving it, but I'm not terribly shocked that he didn't. Does that make sense?
It does.
Based on what I heard?
It does, based on the violation and
my interaction.
Yeah, and
my interactions with the league were such that I could just tell something was up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
could just tell.
Yeah, it sounded like it was almost too up in the air, and I the other part about it though is they could have let him in, and they could have tacked on, made sure that any team bidding on him knew that he was going to be suspended for a while, and they'd be dealing with that, and they could have that could have been his penalty. But I think they were just so afraid at the perception of a guy that gambled on games, and it was just the one because they've let other guys in that have done some bad things or broken different kinds of rules, but this is the one they felt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But let me say this. Absolutely. And I don't need to go through who got in, who didn't, but I will just say this in regards to this particular case. The league has no tolerance for integrity of the game issues and gambling. Now you say, that's hypocritical. The league's got gambling partnership. Yes, they do. Absolutely. And they make money off these gambling sites and fantasy sites. But players in their eyes are not allowed to make bets, especially on their own team. So when Brendan Sorsby 8 days ago applied for the NFL supplemental, it's very easy for them to say, well, why should we rush to go review his application, study what he did and didn't do, when he admitted to betting on his team? We're not doing this guy any favors, and we're not doing anybody any favors when you've admitted that you bet on your own team. And so I honestly just think it was the league just sending a message. You don't really care that you're sitting out football this year. That's your problem, not ours. You're the one who bet. Too bad. We'll possibly, their word possibly, see you in April.
So, Shefty, now that we know the supplemental draft isn't happening and he's going to be essentially on the sidelines for a whole year, when he is eligible to enter next year's draft, because of the time off, is that going to absolve him of any penalty from the league?
I don't know. I think it's too early to answer that. I mean, I don't know what the league will find. I don't know what's going to happen between now and then. I don't know how he's going to behave. I don't know how he's going to spend his year. Like, there's a lot of variables that go into figuring out whether or not Brendan Sorsby would be disciplined if and when he's drafted in April 2027. I just don't know the answer to that.
Okay. So let's go down to Atlanta because it looks like the Falcons are doing some business. Fill us in on the details about Kyle Pitts and the new deal he got. And what does this mean for Bijan Robinson?
Yeah, it's 3 years, $54 million, $36 million guaranteed, makes him the third highest paid tight end in the game on average. And so now we've seen the Falcons this offseason go out and re-sign Kyle Pitts. We've seen them go out and re-sign Drake London to a 4-year, $141 million extension. They've got a couple of other candidates on their list, Matt Bergeron, their offensive tackle, Bijan Robinson, and with the London and Pitts deals out of the way, they could proceed on and go work on those other deals to come up with long-term extensions for them.
The other one, we talk about Cleveland a lot here, certainly, and they're interesting to us, and they've got a lot of fans even here in Columbus. And even though they traded away Myles Garrett, we had talked about, would they go all in and maybe shop Denzel Ward? He's got 2 years left on his 5-year extension, but he has no more guaranteed money. He didn't participate in mandatory minicamp, so what do you think?
Well, again, I didn't know anything about this until you just asked me. So my immediate reaction when I hear that, the fact that he didn't participate in mandatory minicamp is he's trying to get them to sweeten the pot. He probably feels like you trade away Myles Garrett. You say you want me around here. How do we want to handle it? So, that I'm sure he's angling to get more money, and that's kind of where it's at.
So, Shefty, there was a Cleveland radio host that threw out the other day that he's hearing that some teams could be interested in Shedeur Sanders and trying to acquire him. Are you hearing any of that right now?
I have zero evidence that they're shopping Shedeur Sanders. Zero.
What about teams calling them for him?
I don't even know that that's happened. I'd be a little surprised. And I spoke with some of the organization this week. I'm like, what? Any truth about you're open on Shedeur? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, so I don't know what to say. I don't know how you want to interpret it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's weird to hear because I don't think that'd be a smart move. They just got him. They didn't spend a lot of draft capital on him, and they don't even know whether he's the long-term answer or not. They don't even know if they have a long-term answer at quarterback, and I don't know. I think they want to see what could come of this. And by the way, who's making them a big offer for him after what we've seen yet? I don't even know. Maybe they wouldn't want a big offer. Maybe they just want. But even if that happened, I don't even know. You know what that would tell me if they did that? It would tell me that they are all in 2027, that they want to win the fewest amount of games they can this year. Let Deshaun just play out whatever his contract is and then leave. And then they start again in 2027. That's what it would tell me, but I don't think there's any market for him right now. I could be wrong, but it doesn't feel like there'd be a market for him.
By the way, again, teams passed on him during the draft, right?
Right.
So what team all of a sudden has buyer's remorse and is going to go out and give you a pick that's worth the Browns' move? I don't see it right now. It's early.
Yeah. Shefty, what caught my eye, outside of Taylor Swift making an appearance at Tight End University was George Kittle out there on the field moving around pretty well. Coming off the Achilles injury, how's Kittle and the Niners feeling about his recovery? Is he going to be ready to go early on in the season, maybe even week 1?
It certainly seems like he's got a chance. We'll obviously see how he feels during training camp, what they decide to do with him, how they handle the injury. I think he's going to have a chance. I don't know whether he's going to be ready or not. I haven't heard that officially, but it sounds like he's doing everything he can to be out there that day.
We talked about the Bengals and their defense and improving, and Burrow, maybe you heard this, maybe you were gone. He kind of gave us, it wasn't even subtle. He's like, we're going to, did he say we're going to win the Super Bowl or we're going to the Super Bowl? Or he
alluded to them being as good as the 2019 LSU team who we know won the Natty.
Is that around the people you talk to in NFL circles? Do they feel the Bengals have improved their defense enough to be worthy of having a competent enough unit defensively added with this offense to make a big run this year?
I think that's definitely the case. I mean, They went out and added a lot of defensive talent. They went out and added, by my count, it looks like it could be, 8 new defensive starters. So it's almost a whole new defense that you're talking about. And we know the offense is not going to be an issue. If they are healthy, the offense will be formidable and dangerous. And the schedule is as soft as it could be. So if Joe Burrow's healthy, and the defense is better, I don't know why they couldn't make a run. I don't know how far to go. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it were a Bengals-Rams rematch in the Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium. Like, I could see that happening. That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the Bengals is they've missed the playoffs 3 years in a row, so people have kind of forgotten. I don't know if you ever fly under the radar with Joe Burrow, but they are a little bit, and no one really believes in their defense. And on paper, they've absolutely improved their defense, but now we got to see it in action. But I think they're one of the most intriguing teams this year. I really do, and I don't say that just because we're here in Ohio. They're what were they? How many wins did they have last year? They didn't have much. They were a team that certainly is going to get the benefit of the schedule you're talking about. They were 6-11 last year. People have forgotten about them. And I think that's their big weapon, and he decided not to use that weapon. He just threw it out there at a press conference and said, hey, look at us. We're still here. That's Joe Burrow, man.
Yeah. Listen, he's a confident guy. They're a good team. They're in a good spot. They're going to have a chance, I believe, this year. Yeah. We'll see how it works out.
I'm with you. All right, brother. Appreciate your time and insight. As always, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. That's our guy, Adam Schefter, senior NFL insider for ESPN on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, we come back, and Bruce Almighty, will he hear his name called? We'll give you a little NBA draft primer coming up next. Rothman Ice on the Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Everybody thinks they're a great driver. Outlaw Motor Speedway gives you the chance to prove it. Experience professional racing simulators, full motion rigs, and some of the world's iconic tracks right here in Grandview. Race your friends, join a league, or bring the office out for an unforgettable corporate event. And when the checkered flag drops, keep the night going with great food and drinks here or next door at Agave and Rye. Then climb back in the driver's seat and see who's got what it takes. Book your race today at outlawsimracing.com. Need a new ride before summer hits full speed? Head to Germain Honda of Dublin, where the Honda SUV lineup is ready for your next adventure. Choose from the versatile Honda HR-V or the always popular Honda CR-V with a great selection of gas-powered models available right now. Plus, well-qualified buyers can take advantage of some of Honda's best lease offers of the year. Whether you're commuting across Columbus or planning a weekend road trip, there's a Honda SUV built for the journey. Visit Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road or shop online at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
You're having trouble raising your arms, climbing stairs, maybe you can't kneel down, which means you can't play with the kids, golf with the guys, get through a work day without exhausting pain. Hey, it's Bobby, and I'm here to celebrate what you can do. It's exactly what QC Kinetics patients are doing. It's what I did. Not bracing for the next jolt of pain. It's gone. They've moved on. I've moved on. I'm back to my life. You've heard me talk about Dr. Ray Tesner and the team at QC Kinetics and how they've helped me get my knee back together. It was bothering me. I couldn't run, couldn't go do the things that I love to do, like be with my kids, run around outside in the summer and enjoy it. But I didn't have to miss work. There was no surgery. There was no long recovery. And I love running into people who have gone to see them at QC Kinetics and how much better they feel now. Their consultation is totally free. So go there and check out and see if you're a good candidate. Call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. Or check them out online at QCkinetics.com.
Dip it, dunk it, smother it. It's queso gone wild at Hothead Burritos. Try our new loaded potatoes covered in queso and topped off with hardwood smoked bacon, burritos, bowls, nachos, and more. Hothead Burritos. Get up and get you some queso.
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
Take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with Awaken 180. Increase flexibility, strength, and endurance. Breaking 100, 90, even 80 could be just 40 pounds away. Results this summer with the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a hospitality manager at a 5-star hotel.
So I just checked into room 318, but someone was in there.
Room 318. Oh, you were supposed to be booked in 813, which is now booked.
So what do we do?
How about rock, paper, scissors for who gets the bed?
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty.
Wait, what?
Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
If only there was a radio show that constantly talked about Ohio State athletics. Well, good news. It's real, baby. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Matty promises he'll continue to do the show even if he wins the lottery. If only we believed him. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, so everyone got an A last night in the NBA draft, it felt like. Like, I've seen all this analysis on, like, every pick was great. I don't know if that's actually possible, but it was a very deep draft. It was a fashion show as usual. And watching the parents have to go sit in that little luxury lounge on a low couch, because a lot of the parents, surprise, surprise, are tall. It's a basketball draft.
Even some of the moms.
Can we get them into a little more comfortable situation?
That lowrider?
The German kid, I don't know. What was his? I don't know. Anyway, the guy, his dad, he was friends with Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah,
and then Dirk sent him a congratulations. After they were done with the interview, the Fajag tries to get up from this low couch.
Struggle, man.
Nearly falls over.
It was a struggle. That was bad. Like, the idea was
low. You don't put
cool.
him on a couch like that. It's so low.
The set looked nice, but the couch, they'll
Lisa
learn.
Salters is sitting on her little
perfect for
love
her
seat, and then we've got the parents, and then the sister has to sit on the arm of the couch, or with a girlfriend.
Yeah.
It just wasn't conducive. I know what they were trying to
It's a
do.
teachable moment.
Yeah.
Teachable moment.
Let's all get back in the living room where it all started. Anyway, it was good. Bruce Thornton. What are the odds he's going to get his name called tonight? Man, what would you put it at? I haven't
Where
seen
are you
odds
at?
on it. 60%?
I was going to go 70.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to go 70. It wasn't a shock to me, AR, to not hear his name called in the first round. Even though he's obviously so accomplished at this level, all-time leading scorer, we know what time it is when we talk about Bruce Thornton as a player. But as far as his ceiling in the NBA, he is a smaller guard, right, that doesn't have elite athleticism or quickness or jumping skills or any of that.
Might have an elite shot.
Right. And so all of that, to me, kind of screams second-round pick. Doesn't mean that the guy can't be a contributor and a valuable piece to somebody in the NBA. But I wasn't surprised going to bed last night, AR, that he didn't hear his name called, especially in a draft that is supposed to be one of the better ones that we've seen in a while.
Yeah, I think the odds are he'll get drafted.
Yeah.
And he's one of those players that certainly, even though he's not tall, can physically match up. He's a pretty strong kid. And I feel like somewhere in I don't know, where would you put it? The 40s? I don't know. Would it be like between 50 and 60. I don't know. But if he goes undrafted, it's not the worst thing ever. We've heard about it. You know, you start to talk to other teams that you worked out with before the draft, and then all of a sudden you can sign with a team where the opportunity may be better than even the team that drafted you. Now, the team that drafted you clearly would believe in you, but sometimes when you get to pick and choose where you can make your way as a role player in the NBA, it might be just as advantageous to be undrafted.
There's no doubt. The hope is for Bruce that teams look at his experience and they say he can help us right now. So I'm hoping that he gets to hop on a moving train with a team that's in the mix, because I do think, based off of his experience and having the ball in his hands so much, that he could stumble into a situation, I don't know, like Minnesota or Houston or some of these teams that have been knocking on the door in the Western Conference, and be a role player for them right away. I do think he can do that. I don't see him being a starter in the league. That's, to me, would be a shock. But having him as a 6th, 7th, 8th man in your rotation, I think he can carve out a role in the NBA doing that, and I think he can do it fairly quickly.
It's got a couple things that you can't coach, good and bad. Can't coach the shot necessarily, and it's a good one. And you can't coach height, and you can't coach speed.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have those. And that's tough in the NBA. Even the bigs are quick. And it's now he's 220 plus pounds.
Yeah.
So he's physical and can handle himself in the pros. It's just he needs to find a spot where you get an elite shooter and a guy who has been around, who's got experience. And so that's where I would see him trying to thrive in the NBA.
And because of his size, like we've seen, like Jalen Brunson's even 6'2"-ish, and he looks tiny out there. And you look at how the Knicks were constructed, right? There's length and athleticism all around Jalen Brunson to kind of make up for that, right? Whether it's OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges, obviously Cat and all the bigs down low, but that's the kind of situation that those guys can thrive in. So hopefully he can find that situation, because at that size, unfortunately, he's just going to be hunted on defense. And when you are only 6 foot in the league, to where a lot of point guards are, 6'3", 6'4", you can't run and hide, and they're going to find you. And so can he cook up enough defensive chops to show his NBA coach that you can trust me out here, even though I'm going to be a guy that's probably going to be putting a ton of pick and rolls and a bunch of actions to show if he can hold up? Because a lot of guys are going to look at Bruce, unfortunately, and think, I can probably just shoot over this guy. That's the scary part about the defensive end for him.
The interesting thing would be is if you're Bruce Thornton and it gets late in the second round and you're not drafted, you haven't been drafted yet, would you try to get it out there that you wouldn't want to be? Because, and I'm just looking at this, I'm not comparing him to Austin Reeves, but if you see the contract, he's going to sign a 4-year, $185 million contract.
Yeah.
Like,
no difference.
That's the largest contract, richest contract in NBA history for a guy that wasn't drafted.
It's really a wild
It's
story.
a great story, actually. That you don't have. Now, he's one of one in a way here.
He's a pure bucket getter that's also 6'5".
That's right. But if I'm Bruce and I'm getting late in that second round and it doesn't line up with a team that I worked out for, that wants me, that feels like this is the role, we want you, I'm getting it out there. I'm good. Don't draft me. I don't want to be pigeonholed into one team. I want to be undrafted, and then I want to be able to call
your own shot.
Call my own shot.
Yeah.
All right. We'll keep an eye on that tonight in the second round of the draft. We'll come back top of the hour, and we mentioned this earlier. Is this Deshaun's job to lose? One former great player says it is. You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Grilling season starts now at Billiards Plus. Shop top